What's up, everybody? My name is Devon. This is Chris.
Hello.
This is the beginning of a podcast that we both I kind of came up with it, and then we sort of talked about it. It doesn't have a name. If
Mhm.
you guys want to name it, drop ideas down in the comments. Um,
Well, it'll be nice.
what's up?
I said it'll be nice to have people.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. Crowd participation.
oh yeah,
Um, Although I don't know if like six people can be considered. Well, no, I guess three people's a crowd, so I guess that means that six people can definitely be considered a crowd. Either way, if you guys have
oh
any
yeah.
name ideas, drop them down in the comment section below. Basically, this is just for us to get together and talk about like all of the stuff that. So both of us are trying to lose weight. Um, Basically, this is just for us to talk about like all of the stuff that we do to try and do it, what we have tried that works and what we've tried that doesn't work, and possibly go into a little bit of the science of it. So I'm gonna let Chris introduce himself. Um, he's my best friend. You guys know this. I've talked about him in several videos. But I'm gonna go ahead and let him talk about how like all of his stuff happened, and then we'll move on to me.
Uh, well, just like Devin said, I'm not used to doing podcasts because yes, this is our first podcast doing, so I don't know really where to start. Um, it's I don't know how to begin. I don't know where to begin. On when I wanted to lose weight. I
Let's-
mean, Devin he posted a video about saying that he wanted to lose weight. He made a video of what the 400 pound transformation was it?
yeah, I can actually put the link for that one in the description too.
Yeah. Once he released that, I was like, well, if he can do it, so can I. Because I am a little bit lighter than he is, but it's all about the mindset. The
Oh,
mindset on
absolutely.
if you want to do this or not. I mean, how far you want to do it, and what's your goal, and what do you want to,
Exactly.
how much you want to eat. Yeah.
And a big part of it too is like I was going through YouTube and watching like all of these videos of people losing like 600 pounds, and I kept thinking about the fact that like I'd given up on losing weight so many times. The fuck is wrong with me? If these people can lose twice my body weight, why can't I lose 150 pounds? Because let's be
Yeah.
honest, even at my skinniest weight, I'm never gonna beat 150. At my skinniest, when I was a freshman, I was 190, and I was basically pure muscle. Not basically, I was pure muscle with the exception of a little pouch on my belly.
Around that time, our freshman year, I was about one. I'd probably have to say 130, 130, 150,
Holy shit!
and
I
that was
remember
I
seeing
was at my
pictures of
skinniest.
that. I think Ashley showed me. Both of us used to be in relatively good shape. Chris is definitely in better shape than I am. He played tennis all the way through high school, whereas I played football in eighth grade and freshman, and then or eighth
Well,
grade
for me,
and
it wasn't just mostly. Sorry to interrupt, but
you're
for
good.
me, it wasn't just mostly tennis. It was a little bit of a marching band too. So I had, double the workout.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think we both kind of had those workouts and thought, "Oh, this is great." And then whenever we came off of them, we thought we'd still be okay. And then we didn't really change any eating habits or didn't take on a more active lifestyle, other than what we were
Everything just
already
went to shit.
doing. And yeah, exactly. Everything just kind of went to shit. Um, so basically, I got fat because after high or in ninth grade, I moved in with my mom, and that's for anybody watching. This is not me blaming my mom. It has nothing to do with my mom, other than the fact that I happen to live there. Um,
Hmm.
but basically, I moved in with my mom to help her because she needed a babysitter, and my older sister wasn't available to do it anymore. So she had me move in, and I was doing homeschool. But the problem was that when I was doing, or when I was supposed to be doing homeschool, usually I was sitting on my ass and watching TV and eating all of the food in the house, which, looking back, was a really crappy thing of me to do because we were also, like, my mom was struggling. We were living paycheck to paycheck. And most of the food that we actually got from food stamps, or the kids' school had like a family help program that'd give food to all the kids
Hmm.
every Friday. Actually, I think it was every other. Either way, um, but over the course of about 5 months between moving back in with my mom and then moving to Texas with my mom and her fiance, or boyfriend at the time, now they're married. In those 5 months, I think I gained easily 60 to 70 pounds in 5 months. and I looked like I had gone down there with clothes that fit perfectly. I was comfortable, and by the time I left, I didn't want to go outside. I became reclusive because none of my clothes fit, and I wasn't comfortable wearing them. And even now, I've got 2 or 3 shirts that fit. And as far as going outside, there's nothing for me to do outside other than go to the gym. So that's what I've been doing as of recently.
Right.
But then I got to Texas, and before meeting Chris, I had a gym class. I actually think I had 2 gym classes. I had one in junior year and one in sophomore year, or one in sophomore, one in junior, and then in senior year it got really bad because between sophomore and junior year, I gained maybe another 50 pounds. And then in senior year, I gained a lot. I gained another 50 pounds on top of that. So at this point, I'm at 350 pounds by the time I left high school. And it got so bad that you can ask Chris, I was wearing the same red jacket every day because it was the only jacket that I had that fit.
Yeah, it was um yeah, he would use wear the same outfit about what, twice a day,
Yeah.
or at least, yeah, twice, no, twice a
Even if
week
I
actually.
even if I changed my pants, usually I was always wearing the same disgusting, stained up, ratty ass red sweater or red hoodie.
Yeah,
And
that's the only thing that you feel comfortable in.
yeah, absolutely. And I've
Because
got
because being a fat man, you find stuff that you know can hide all the roles.
yeah, and being fat in high school, I kind of embraced it.
Hmm.
I got tired of looking at myself and being disgusted, so for a while, I was relatively comfortable fat. Not physically, obviously. Being fat puts a lot of strain on the joints and the muscles, because then
Especially
you
the
also
back.
have to carry all of that weight, especially your back
Hmm.
if you're like me and most of your weight's in your belly.
Same.
But um, I kind of embraced it a little bit and gave myself a nickname actually that stuck. I was called Fat Man for a lot of high school, which I was completely comfortable with. Even now, I'm still comfortable with it. It doesn't make me feel bad at all. And then I met Chris, and he became Fat Man too, because I was already Fat Man, but we were both Fat Man. So it was just like, all right, cool. Now there's 2 of
Just give
us.
each other nicknames while they're fat. I mean, make each other feel, you know, great, knowing that you're in a bad shape.
Yeah,
It's always
exactly.
good to
Like
help people
you're
out.
in bad shape, and deep down you're uncomfortable with it, but knowing that there's somebody else in the same situation kind of helps.
Hmm.
And then all kinds of emotional stuff that I'm not going to go into happened in high school, and I basically had a dependency on food, to where I started binge eating every time I'd come home from school or work. I would come home super stressed, and I would just order all this food, and I'd sit in my room and watch YouTube videos and eat like I did the first 5 months I moved back in with my mom. And it wasn't like a situation where my mom just didn't care. There were numerous times where my mom would sit me down and be like, if you do not stop eating all of the food in the house, you're going to gain more weight and you're going to be really unhealthy, and I'm going to start worrying. And that's exactly what happened. I gained more weight and my mom started
That's
worrying. And
good.
even now, my mom worries.
Oh yeah. Well, I believe that any mother of any child will start worrying about
Oh,
their
absolutely.
child being unhealthy or something that's going wrong. I mean, it's natural.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you guys have seen the last videos or the last series of me trying to lose weight that I made. It was about 2 weeks, and then I was like, all right, I can't do it anymore. But one of the reasons that I'm even trying to lose weight so seriously now is Karen, because and I don't know if I have permission to say the reason that she worries about it, but basically she's made it very clear that she loves me just the way I am, but she is worried about my health, and she doesn't
Hmm.
want me to not be able to be there for whatever future we can have together. um, Basically, what happened was that originally her mom had gotten married to a guy named Gary. Gary was fantastic to her, but they weren't married even a year before he had a heart attack at work and died. And she made a point to tell me he was a bigger guy. Um, but then on top of that, she was also engaged to someone that never really took their weight seriously. She would convince him to go to the gym, and he'd go for a day or two, and then he just quit. He didn't do it anymore. Didn't want to do it anymore. So I've made a commitment to myself. Like I've forced myself every morning for the past 2 days. That doesn't sound like a lot, but I've made a commitment to force myself every morning that the one constant I have to do is I have to get up and I have to go to the gym. Because it took me a long time to understand the fact that I'm not going to get immediate results. This is going to take a lot of persistence and a lot of time, but if I'm willing to stick it out and I have the patience for it, I should be okay. I just need to make sure I'm paying attention and not mindlessly munching.
And plus, you don't want to overwhelm yourself while you're working out, because that's what
Oh,
one thing that we've come across is that we put a lot of things on top of our minds, and that we can do all this at once,
oh,
get buff and
absolutely.
all that fun stuff. And about like a week or two, like you said, everything just goes downhill,
By the end of a week
because
or
you
two, you're
feel
just like,
overwhelmed.
wow, I don't think I can keep up with all of this, and it just
Yeah.
becomes a massive stressful thing.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know how Chris got fat. I never really was privy to that story. I don't think we ever actually got around to talking. I think we tried to talk about it at one point, but we were in the middle of class and the teacher kept yelling at us to shut up. I'm pretty
That's every
sure.
time we're in a class together. I mean, it's not just me and it's just not us. It can just be any type of best friends,
Oh,
having the same
absolutely.
class,
My
having
favorite
a
ones were
good time.
when we were in Money Matters and there was the group in the back of the class that would get
Oh my
mad because we were
god.
sitting there talking, but then we would stop
They'll turn
talking and they'd
around,
start talking.
uh, and then they start yelling at us for talking. I'm like, dude,
They'd be
just
like, "Shut up," and I'd be like, "I'll shut up when you shut up."
exactly. Yeah, I don't understand how people like that, especially in class, can do that.
Yeah, no,
You know,
neither do I.
I guess
Um,
at least to me, they're kind of hypocrites, and they tell everybody to shut up, and they turn around and do the same thing you were doing.
yeah, but like I was never. I don't think I've ever actually been told the full story of how Chris gained weight. I think it was, as far as I'm concerned, it was something along the lines of he used to be super skinny, and then his metabolism said get fucked, and that was the
Pretty
end of that.
pretty much because yeah, when I was younger, uh, probably say 13 or 14 years old. I was about 100 pounds ish, give or take. And then
Damn.
once we moved into our old apartment about 7 years ago, I looked fat in our first picture because we always take first pictures in our new house.
Mm-hmm.
I was fat. I probably say I was easy 165, 170, but it wasn't
Yeah.
just all muscle. It was just pretty much fat. You can see double chin. You can see
Oh
you
yeah.
know massive titties.
Massive man tatas.
You can see those. But now, if you look at me now, I'm like, I'm 5'6". I'm 200. I'll probably say 235 pounds, and I've lost all that weight, but except for the weight on my stomach. That is the
Yeah.
one that kills me.
I actually have noticed that you're not really fat anywhere but except your belly. You don't even really have much of a double chin,
No, not
which
much.
I'm kind of jealous of because I have a big enough double chin to grab it and it's like a handful. It's disgusting.
Well,
But
it's amazing how much food I eat though, because every day I'm at a fast food restaurant, and every day I take food home, and that's grease and carbs and stuff that we don't need,
oh,
especially
absolutely.
especially about 11:30 at night.
So one of the things I've started doing to combat this is I think I mentioned it in another video. Karen and I are trying to slowly transition into keto, which is, for those of you who don't know, keto is a zero carb diet. Well, it's not zero carb; it's an extreme low carb diet. And mostly the carbs that you get are called incidental carbs, so it's like the small amount of carbs you'd find in like veggies or some forms of protein. But for the most part, like grains and bread and pasta and all of that stuff,
No,
you want to try to avoid it.
right.
And one of the ways that we deal with kind of having the carb cravings is we'll substitute stuff. So like instead of using flour, we'll use like almond flour, which is just flour made of almonds. Um, or instead of pasta, sometimes we'll use zucchini because zucchini actually tastes fantastic with pasta sauce. As of recently, I've been eating a lot of eggs and bacon because with keto, when you're cutting out carbs, you want to try and substitute in more fat so that you actually feel full, and that also helps with portion control. You're not as hungry because you just ate something with a shit ton of fat. So your body's just like, oh, we don't need anything right now.
Well, you don't want to get confused on natural fat and processed fat,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
processed fat can get you that extra weight that you do not need.
Oh,
You need that
absolutely.
natural fat,
And
such as the bacon and the eggs and all
well,
that good
yeah,
stuff.
bacon is good in small amounts. So like if you're eating
Yeah,
bacon, typically you want to go with 2 or 3 slices at most. Um,
I
a
had
lot
like
of
10.
people don't know it. A lot of people don't know it. Bacon is actually classified as a type 1 carcinogen. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's poisonous. Not poisonous, but it's not good for you in large amounts, especially because of the amount of sodium it has.
Oh yes.
But that doesn't mean it's bad for you in general. Like typically we make our lunches before we go to work. So typically in the morning we'll have like eggs and bacon, or like I go to the gym now, so I go to the gym, I come home and I drink a protein shake, and then I'll eat like some hard boiled eggs or something like that. Basically just cutting out as many carbs as we can, and while we're still transitioning, we're not cutting them out entirely. Because if you cut them out entirely, you get what's called keto sickness, and it feels like shit. It is
Oh my
horrible.
gosh, you'll get so wrecked after that.
It's horrific.
I don't
Um,
know who says wreck anymore. I mean, I'm
actually,
sorry. I'm sorry to get a little off topic here because you talk about food and all that fun stuff. I don't know why I'm always, especially at work, I'm talking about getting wrecked. Especially
wrecked. I do that
because
a lot when I'm playing video games. Just
oh my
earlier,
gosh,
I
yes.
kept killing somebody on GTA because I had killed him to get to the bounty he was, or no, I had killed the bounty he was after, and then it killed him because he came after me, and then we spent 20 minutes attacking each other, and every time I killed him, I'd be like, get wrecked. But by the end of it, I ended up finding a new server because I was done fighting with him and wanted to look for something.
And
And
what's funny because I still play Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and with my clan tag it says wrecked and it has my tag. I'm like, this is 2020. This game came out 5 years ago, and I'm still using the clan tag wrecked.
so I have a game on my Xbox that's called Cameo, and it came out in 2005. It was the first game I ever played on an Xbox system. And to this
Yeah.
day, every single time I kill a boss, I have to say get wrecked. I don't know why. That was never a big thing for me until now. I don't understand it. It's just like, oh, you're dead now. Get wrecked. Um,
I mean, I'll say it around work. I mean, I'm hanging around with grown adults who are my age or older, and I just say get wrecked, and they just look at me all cockeyed. I'm like,
like the
what?
hell did you just say to me? Um,
Sorry, just rolls off the tongue. Just man.
it really does though. But one of the other things I've been doing, obviously, is going to the gym. And so far, going to the gym, I'll try and do. I try and stick to what I like to call the two workout rule. So for each group of muscles, I'll do 2 workouts. So for legs, I actually do 1 workout because the end of the workout session is typically something that has to do with walking or cardio of some sort. Today it was stair climbers, and it was horrible. And I was kind of disappointed because I got through 3 minutes and I had jelly legs and I was panting like I had just ran a marathon. But it's progress, and that was one of the things that I had.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I'm struggling to learn is the fact that, yeah, it sucks, and yeah, you feel like you should be seeing immediate results, but you're not going to. It takes time, and a lot of the time you won't even notice them at first. Other people will notice them.
And
Like
that
I
will start
think
showing, and that'll make you a little more proud of what
exactly.
you look like.
Um, I have never been one to think that I am particularly attractive. I get in trouble for saying it a lot, actually. Um, I'll be like, "Wow, I'm ugly," and Karen will be like, "Dude, shut the hell up. No, you're not." Um, I've never been one to feel like I'm particularly attractive, but when I was skinny, not skinny, when I was skinnier, because I wasn't completely skinny, um, I didn't really worry about it. Like now, I don't really worry about it as much as I used to. I used to like in that little gray area of high school, the purgatory of shit fuckery. Um, I was pretty much all I was worried about. Like Shybri has pictures of me in the red sweater, and in one of them I look like I was high off my ass, and I've never been high a day in my life. Like, she's got to, and like when I first started combing my hair backwards instead of just letting it hang wherever, um, it didn't comb all the way back, and it like popped up in that like weird square like cloud bread shape.
Oh, I know what
Um,
you're talking about.
and my eyes are half closed, and I have like a weird double chin, and I'm smiling all goofy, and it's like, what in the hell is this monstrosity? Um,
It's a tomato.
it's, it's a tomato. Um, but like now I'm trying. Like today, I did. Let's see. I did a lot. I did 2 or 3 workouts for chest actually. I did 2 for shoulders, 2 for arms, 1 for legs, and then I went and walked for about 2 to 3 quarters of a mile. Um, and then I did the stair stepper for 3 minutes, and then I was done because I couldn't walk anymore. But
Honestly,
like,
because you couldn't breathe. Because I remember the story you just told me that
oh,
you got off those
absolutely.
stairs and you got in the car. You like this.
Like in the process of recording my video, I was just, and this is 10 minutes after I got off the stair stepper. I was still panting. Um, but basically, this
That's good
podcast.
because your body is doing what it's supposed to. It's working. Get that stored fat out of there.
Oh, absolutely.
And yeah, all the fun stuff.
And one of the big reasons that I decided to do the podcast was because it's nice to have someone to talk about all of this with, but also because we have a really bad habit of not staying in touch for like weeks at a time. That's kind of my fault. Um, but also because it's nice to know that while something like working out consistently and dieting might work for me, for you it could be something completely different. Like I think last time you said you were doing like yoga and had actually lost a few pounds, which is fantastic. I never would have thought
Yeah,
yoga could actually do that.
yeah. It was awesome because I'd probably say a good week. I started back in September. I was at my heaviest. I was about 250, I think. And yeah, I watched what I ate and did yoga or different forms of yoga every day, and I dropped good, easy 7, 8 pounds. I mean, this stuff works. You just need to find what's comfortable for you. Um, if you want to go to the gym or you want to take the slow action, go do yoga.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
whatever. It's
And one of
whatever.
the big misconceptions of going to the gym is that you're gonna walk in and everybody's gonna stare at you and think, "Wow, look at that fat ass. They're so out of shape they can't even walk right." But in reality, if they notice you at all, it's probably going to be more along the lines of a glance. Like, I've gone to the gym
Yeah.
2 days in a row, and I think I've had one person even look at me, which felt fantastic because I suddenly didn't feel like I was the center of attention, and I hate being the center of attention. Like, I walked in and I didn't feel like everybody was watching me. I didn't feel like I was being scrutinized. In fact, the person that glanced at me wasn't even like a bad glance. It was more of a, oh, he's making an effort. So like it's kind of nice, and like one of the things that I learned early on is the bodybuilding community and the fitness community, which kind of go hand in hand. They typically have a lot more respect than people give them credit for people who are overweight, and actually making an effort and trying to lose the weight, because a lot of them have come from the same place and they know what it's like to be out of shape, and they know what it's like to look at somebody else and think, "Wow, I wish I could look like that."
Hmm.
But also, a lot of people have the misconception that losing any amount of weight is going to mean hours and hours of working out until you puke and like coming home to the point, or coming home and being like unable to get out of bed because you're so sore. And in reality, that's not what it's like at all. I work out for about an hour, and I basically work out until my muscles start to get sore a little bit, or until I start to get really shaky. So not like shaky, like I'm sitting still and quaking, but like as I go to put the weight down, my arms are like shaking a little bit. That's typically
Just like
when I'll stop and
chilling.
take like a 30-second break and do another set. And after about 2 or 3 sets, I move on to the next thing. Um, and you don't like if you're doing sports, sometimes you'll end up making yourself puke, but typically if you're puking, it means you're working out too hard, because that means your body is
Mm.
trying to very quickly get rid of whatever. So one of my friends from middle school explained to me, I don't know if it's true, but his theory is that when you puke because because of working out, that it's this like primal instinct of like your body's trying to drop more weight so you can run faster, because if you're running for that amount of time or doing anything for that amount of time, you're obviously in dire danger and need to move quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. I haven't had a chance to research it very much. I could look it up right now, but then we would have a very long, awkward silence because I take forever to find anything. Um, but that was his theory, and it kind of makes sense, a little bit. But honestly, if you're puking when you're working out too hard. You don't need to work out until you can't walk or until you can't do normal functions.
Hmm.
And I come home, and if I have the stuff, I'll make like a super complex, super tasty energy, or not energy drink, protein shake. The first day I worked out this week, I had obviously the protein powder. It was strawberry flavored protein powder with oatmeal, blueberries, a little bit of coconut oil, and like 2 leaflets of lettuce. And I blended that up with some water. It was pretty tasty. Karen was not a fan. I loved it. It was she drank it and made this face like I had just stuck a fetus in her face.
You stuffed the what? You said you stuffed the
Fetus.
fetus? Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yes, she made this face like she was so disgusted, and it was absolutely priceless. She took like I
Oh
didn't
my
give her very
gosh.
much. I gave her like a little bitty taste, because if you drink too much if you drink more protein than your body needs, you're gonna give yourself the shits.
Yes. That would
I
suck.
learned that the hard way. I learned that from dumping my guts into the sewers. That's a very bad image, and I apologize, but I'm also not very sorry about that. Um,
Sorry, not sorry.
sorry, not sorry. Um, but if you typically, I'll actually throw some fiber, benefiber, into my protein shake, and it kind of helps with that. However, I don't know where that is. It's still packed away in a box somewhere. Um, I think it might actually be in the car now that I think about it. And Karen's got the car, so I can't even go outside after we're done and grab it. But like
Okay.
you don't have to work out till you puke. Nobody's gonna like, you're not gonna walk in the gym and people are gonna be like, look at that fat ass. If anything, they'll actually come up and help you. Honestly, like there's been multiple
Remember the first
times.
time? Remember the first time that we went to the gym together?
I do actually.
That was actually kind of fun.
It was also weird because we ran into Brittany and I was not expecting that.
Oh, my ex girlfriend. Yeah.
Yes. We both have a girlfriend, an ex girlfriend named Brittany, and let's just say his is a lot better than mine. Mine was
We have
manipulative.
we have to specify what Brittany we're talking about, because if we just say Brittany, we don't know which Brittany. So we have to say either it was my
As
Brittany or it was Devon's Brittany.
his Brittany was a little bitchy sometimes. Otherwise,
I
she was
don't
pretty
necessarily say
friendly.
that. She was extremely friendly, yes.
At least, well, to you, to me, she just kind of couldn't be bothered, which was fine with me. I didn't really talk to her, but my Brittany was manipulative and just ugh.
She made
Um,
me uncomfortable.
she made Chris uncomfortable, and if he's not uncomfortable around me, it's gonna take a lot because I am very
It
good.
takes a lot to have me very uncomfortable.
I have literally left. Never mind. I'm not gonna tell that story. I was gonna say something about the time that we were walking out of class.
Oh no.
I was gonna
Oh,
say something, but I'm not going to.
I
Um,
remember that. Okay, yeah, that's not.
but yeah, like things like even just getting up and walking, honestly, can be a fantastic form of weight loss, or a fantastic form of exercise, so long as you're also monitoring how much you eat. Because in all honesty, you could eat pretty much anything you want. However, if you don't adjust your activity accordingly, you're gonna have some problems. Like I ordered fast food earlier, and I'm already planning on going to the gym again when we're done here. Because yeah, I ordered fast food and I absolutely shouldn't have, but now I get to go back to the gym and burn it all off, which is what I was already planning from the moment I ordered it. Which is
Mhm.
also why I made sure to order extra small. Like I got a small unsweet iced tea. I think I got a Reuben and a small fry, and I didn't even eat all of the fries.
It's funny because when you were here in Texas, you were working with me. Um, some days you'll bring chicken home. I'll bring chicken home, and sometimes we just Because at the time we were going to school together, so we could just walk. He can come and crash at my place, and we could just walk to school or walk from school, to get that energy off. But it's
Oh
been it's
yeah.
been a long time since we've done that.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. And not to mention the fact that working in the fast food industry as a fat person means it's even harder to lose the weight because you're constantly surrounded by easy access to food in an industry that requires you to move quickly and burn a lot of energy. So typically, if you're already fat, your body uses a lot of energy to move that around. So instead of
mhm.
giving your body time to kind of adjust to smaller amounts of food so that it starts burning your body fat, you end up like I used to do. You can ask Chris. I would stand on the line and pack orders, and basically every other thing I picked up went in my mouth.
And just like you saying, it's kind of hard when you're trying to cut back on food and you constantly
And your
looking
job
around.
is to literally pack food in a bag.
Exactly. And then we have a little rule here. I don't know if it's actually like true, but
Mm-hmm.
we can't eat on the clock. But every day, because I've been there for 3 years, every day, um, I see people eat while customers and the managers aren't looking. Well, the managers don't even care anymore, as long as we don't eat in front of the customers.
The
If we don't eat
regional
in front of the
manager
customers,
and the owner will fire you for it,
oh
but
yeah,
the store manager doesn't really care. I would literally grab rolls off the line when we weren't busy and walk to the back of the restaurant and eat them, which is horrible, by the way, because it was basically pure bread and salted butter. And it wasn't even real butter, it was processed butter that, even when cold, was liquid. And I don't know how that happened. And now that I look back on it, honestly, I'm horrified because ew. But it tasted so good. And that's a big
and,
problem
and
with.
and it's
Oh, go
not
ahead.
just with the it's not just with the rolls. I mean, I can just be in the back cleaning dishes and have everything caught up back there, and just steal like mashed potatoes with gravy or mac and cheese or whatever I just see fancy. And it's just like
Oh,
it's there.
absolutely.
It's just there.
And it's quick and easy. So typically, if you're trying to lose weight, also you're thinking about, well, now all of my stuff is store bought. I can't get it from the restaurant where it's easy and convenient. So now I have to cook it all, and sometimes that can become stressful.
Yes,
Actually,
very
I
stressful.
didn't feel like trying to cook something for dinner, so I literally threw some bacon and eggs in a pan, and that was it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love bacon. I love chicken, but
Oh yeah, but also,
the chicken with the grease that we have, people say that it looks like lard, and
I
it
mean
feels.
that's because the grease you guys have is lard, though.
Oh yeah, it's like a fat shortener or something, or grease. Excuse me, I'm burping up bacon right now. But yeah, it's like a grease shortener or a fat shortener or something. And when I come and pick it up, you can feel it slip.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
if you can look, your fingers are pretty much like dragging through the grease.
Or, if I was there, you'd see holes punched in boxes that have now been turned around. Because I'd get bored and I'd be standing there at the fryer and I would turn around and just sock a hole into one of the lard blocks. Mostly because the plastic was strong and I knew I wasn't going to puncture the plastic, but also because it felt kind of like a giant block of slippery Play Doh. Oh god, I just thought of something horrifying. A giant block of Play Doh lube. Are you there? Alright, so I'm gonna guess that.
Technical difficulties. I'm still here.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna assume that his headphones died, and that's gonna end the podcast here. Um,
No, it's just like my internet is being stupid right now.
did we miss anything on the list?
Um.
I don't think we went over what you were doing.
Oh. Um. Sometimes when both of us get um kind of like overwhelmed or just frustrated, we end up
Mm-hmm.
headbutting or punching the steel door that they have for the
Yeah,
freezers.
I'm
And
pretty sure there's.
I think some of the dents that are still there are because of you.
I'm actually certain that they are.
Oh yeah.
Um, so what are you doing as far as like working out and dieting?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not really working out right now, but I'm just Starting off slow, just cutting off the food that are unhealthy for me.
That's definitely a good start. That's actually, I don't remember. I want to say it was a channel called Obese to Beast. He was actually one of the stories that I listened to that kind of inspired me to try again. But he started with what he called the common sense diet. Basically, he would start by like cutting out sugary drinks and then cutting out, like he would order fast food almost every day. So he'd start by like cutting out the sugary drinks, and then when he got through that, he would cut out the fries, and then when he got through that, he'd start pulling the buns off and just eating the fillings of the burger.
Yeah,
Um,
it's always a slow process when you begin working out because, like we said before, is that you overwhelm yourself.
exactly.
You just end up stopping.
And one of the things that people, and even me sometimes, even I forget it, you don't have to start at somebody else's pace. When you're trying to lose weight, it's actually more important to start at your own pace. Because while somebody else might be able to just go cold turkey and quit everything and suddenly lose 50 pounds in a month, not everybody's capable of doing that. Even if you have to cut out, even if like you spend 3 months losing almost nothing because you're easing your way into everything, that's okay. You're still making progress. the
Exactly.
weight
Yeah.
the weight loss itself isn't necessarily the progress in the beginning. In the beginning, it's the small things, being able to cut out the things that you know you shouldn't be eating, and that after you get done eating them, you feel guilty. That was part
Yeah.
of the reason that I decided I was going to go back to the gym tonight and work out
That's
some
good.
more, because I knew the moment I started even eating that food that I ordered, I was going to feel guilty, and I have felt guilty about ordering food like that for years now, because I've been doing it for about a year,
Well,
actually about 2 years.
it's also kind of good to have like at least one cheat day
Oh, absolutely.
because if you just cut everything, it's gonna tear your body up.
Oh, absolutely. And you can
Just slow,
absolutely.
slow process.
One of the things that people tend to forget also is when you're cutting sugar out of your diet, you never want to go cold turkey, because there's actually multiple studies that have found that sugar is more addictive than cocaine. And if you cut sugar out of your diet entirely, you will go through withdrawals and you can get very sick. Um,
Especially people with health conditions like diabetes, especially my family.
oh,
Um,
absolutely.
you have too much sugar, you have little sugar, your body's gonna feel it. You're gonna have headaches. You're gonna feel nauseous.
You're gonna have headaches. You're gonna feel
You're gonna have
nauseous. You're gonna
headaches.
feel exhausted. You're gonna feel like
Exactly.
you can't even move some of the time.
So you're gonna need the a perfect balance of the two.
So basically, if you're eating any sugar when you're trying to cut it out or cut little small amounts out as much as you can. So like if you make iced tea and you put, say, a cup of sugar in, cut it down to half a cup and then cut it down to no sugar. Personally, I didn't used to like unsweet tea, and now I love unsweet tea. In fact, if tea is too sweet, I will not drink it. But I used to get in trouble regularly because I would dump sugar into my tea because I could not drink it if it wasn't sweet. And now if it's too sweet, my teeth hurt. Oh my god.
It,
Do you remember? I don't remember what they're called, but they're like the super soft cookies that you can get at the grocery store. And they have the icing.
oh,
Oh my god, I hate those.
I remember those because what we have a nickname for them is called crack
Crack
cookies.
cookies, because you eat one and
Pretty
you
much what
bug
they
out like a
are.
crackhead.
They're really yeah, because you eat one
And
and
for
you want
about
another one.
45 minutes, you're just like, oh my god, 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 I gotta do this, I gotta do that, oh my god. And then you crash, and you're like, fuck, now I can't do anything.
Exactly, because I used to buy at least 2 packs, and not for, well, one for me and one for work, because that's what I will always do. Um, I'll go buy work some cookies. They'll be grateful for them. By the time I get back up there, I'm gonna say, "Hey, how was the cookies?" Oh, we ate them all in about an hour or so. I'm like,
Yeah.
God dang, holy cow!
And
I mean, that's what they good.
I always got a lot of backlash because I absolutely hate those cookies. When I eat them, my teeth ache. And they always have, like, no amount of how much sugar I could possibly eat makes those taste okay to me. They always
Mm-hmm.
have tasted too sweet, and they always have made my teeth hurt. However, that did not stop me from eating them.
It's like I said, this is really good, man.
Because for
Really
about
good.
six
It's
years,
soft. Mm.
my ass was on a seafood diet. I saw food and I ate food.
like a true fat man out there. It's like, I see food, I want it.
It's like a porn star at an ass orgy.
Okay.
I see ass, I eat ass.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I did not expect to have food and sex in the same sentence.
Have you ever heard? You've never heard of whipped cream?
Uh, I
That's
don't think I
2 words,
want
and that's already sex and food in the same sentence.
to. Oh
Oh,
my god.
oh, this is
Um,
not kid friendly, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
no, we have to put like an ad, like an age limit or something, or like viewer discretion or something.
Yeah. Viewer
Um,
discretion. This program contains curse words right from the fucking start. Oh.
yes. Um, well, I have a list here. We got through three things. Oh, let's just talk about some random stuff. How do we become best friends?
So I was actually introduced to him through one of my now ex-girlfriends. I think at the time she was just my friend. Um, no. At the time, yes, at the time she was just my friend. Because then we started hanging out. And I specifically remember going to prom in junior year. And I almost beat the living shit out of Roger because I thought he was going to hit you. And
Oh yeah.
that was what made Ashley like me. Because apparently I looked really badass rolling up my sleeves to beat the shit out of somebody. I
Well,
never really understood that.
well, plus, me and Ashley are really good friends. We've known each other since elementary, probably say middle school. I was there when she had her accident, um, and we became good friends. It was like, yeah, she kind of introduced us both, and we became good friends instantly.
That's one of the reasons you'll never really hear me talk smack about Ashley, because while I don't agree with everything that happened, and while she definitely did hurt me emotionally, they're still
Mm.
friends and she's still practically his sister. So I'm not gonna shit talk somebody's family to them. That's not okay.
Yeah,
Um,
that's not okay
and if I ever do, feel absolutely free to tell me to shut the fuck up, because that is absolutely not acceptable.
though.
But we basically, so Ashley and I had a class together called Money Matters, and basically it was a financial class that we were supposed to be learning how to pay taxes and stuff. We didn't learn shit in there because all we did was fuck around. But
Exactly. There's no point of that
I
class. It's just
never
to fuck
turned
around.
in a single assignment in that class, and I passed with a 70.
I
Um,
passed. I thought it was like an 80 or something.
yes. But
I mean, it was
Ashley
unnecessary.
introduced me to him, and then we started making like plans for when we got out of high school. We were all gonna move in together and have like this big YouTube house. Good luck with that shit. It didn't fucking happen. Um,
Well, at least not yet.
not
But
yet.
granted, it's not gonna be with Dallas or Ashley. It's gonna be hopefully with me, you, and Karen.
Yeah, hopefully. Um, I do actually have a suggestion for you for that, but that's for after the podcast.
No, that's fine.
So she introduced me to him. We started talking and hanging out, and then me and him just kind of became friends. We just got closer and closer over time. And then after Ashley and I split up, me and him stayed friends. And he was actually there for me a lot, to be honest.
Mm.
After Ashley left, I just kind of sank down into a hole because I really did like her. But we both kind of admitted that the relationship wasn't working for us, and she admitted that I was a rebound, which I already kind of knew. But he was really there, so we became even closer. And then we had the same class in senior year. In ASL, for those of you who don't know, most of you should know because you guys know me and I've explained this multiple times. ASL stands for American Sign Language. That was my first period of the day, and Chris wasn't in that class.
I wasn't in that class because I had first period off, and I was always wanted to show up before my second period because I think my second period was about 9 o'clock. And
Yeah,
every day I would go in there and just hang out with a little group.
we had a whole like 2 or 3 tables worth of people. We were all just really close friends, and then some shit happened. I did a stupid that was all of the Britney thing. I'm not gonna go into, but most of us are still friends. Pretty sure Kayla doesn't really like me that much, but that's okay. It's mostly my fault. I'm not gonna blame her for any of that. Um,
Right.
Also, I think Kayla's just terrified that she's gonna get hurt again, which is also fair because I was a dick. But Anyway, we're getting off topic. So me and him became friends because of, a lot of trauma and shit that happened in high school. We just kind of stuck by each other's side. Um, and that was pretty much it. And he's also the only friend that I really regularly talk to from Texas. I talk to Kira sometimes. Every so often, I'll talk to Kayla. I think the last thing I talked to her about was I sent her a picture from Plants vs. Zombies. And it was that and another picture. The first picture said medical marijuana. And then there was the picture of one of the plants from Plants vs. Zombies, and it said heel weed. It made her laugh. Valentine and I are still friends. In fact, Valentine is pregnant. I'm pretty sure she's about to have a baby here in a few months.
She's what, 20? I probably could say 24, 25 weeks.
Yeah, probably. And
Which is awesome.
I don't really talk to Shybri that much, not as much as I'd like to.
I don't talk to her either.
Also because I know Shybri's busy and she's got a lot of shit going on. And I don't want to get in the middle of that because I cannot be in the middle of other people's relationship stuff all that much.
Right.
With you, it's different because you're not dumb. You'll actually think things through. She doesn't quite think them through all the way. Also, she's like 22 and is now a stepmom. Which, like, to each their own, but at the same time, like, you don't exactly have the money for that.
Right. And either way, we still love each other.
Oh, absolutely.
Not that kind of gay way. But like a brotherhood.
Oh, absolutely.
Between me and him.
Out of all of my friends, I think I'd consider you, Cheney, and probably Valentine family, as far as like the people who I still talk to, and Kira. Kira's pretty close. I consider her a sister.
Yeah, she's close. Yeah.
Closer than I would gratefully enjoy. Seen things I didn't want to see. But that's, all of that stuff, like, yeah, I don't entirely agree with some of the stuff they do, but I'm not here to judge. Like, to each their own. And we're both always here for all of our friends. Like, if they need help, they need to talk about something, we're here for them. That's kind of what we became friends over. But other than that, I think that's about it.
And we also, at senior year prom, we didn't have dates. So not to make it weird, we went with each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was fun up until the end. I'm not gonna go into the whole story, but it was fun at the end.
Kayla was mad at me.
Yeah, until the end.
Kayla was really mad at me all the way through prom.
Which I don't understand, because she was talking to me all day.
What happened was I had been venting to Valentine because I thought some of the stuff that Kayla was saying was unfair, and Valentine was doing Kayla's hair. So when Valentine was stopping to text me, Kayla got curious and asked her what she was talking about, and Valentine told her because it's Valentine. She's not gonna lie.
No.
And Kayla was furious. Like, would not even look at me all the way through prom. I was like, oh, I done goofed. But other than that, like, yeah, all of us have been through some shit and we've hurt each other a little bit, but all in all, we're still pretty good friends.
And with each other hurting, with each other going through the pain process, it's all part of life. No matter.
Oh, absolutely. All of us kind of accepted the fact that
relationship, friendship.
All of us kind of accepted the fact that, yeah, it hurts, but it's not like life's not going to kick you in the ass every morning anyway.
Yeah.
Typically, the best thing you can do if life's going to kick you in the ass every morning is start wearing some ass armor, or at least a kidney pad.
And what's funny, because I'm about to make a reference to what Team 4 Star, which I like watching a lot. What Goku said to Vegeta, and it's like, if you get knocked off that horse, you get right back up and you eat that horse.
And you eat that horse?
And you eat that horse.
What the Oh, welcome to Kazakhstan. Which, by the way, as far as I know, is the only country where it's legal to eat horse. I think. I don't know if it's the only place it's legal to. I know it's the only place where it's not only is it not taboo, it's a normal.
I think I have the internet right here on my screen, so I'll go ahead and look it up.
I think one of the things that people have trouble with as far as losing weight as well is we, how do I explain it? We tend to psych ourselves out. So like earlier today, I sat in the car before
Where
I got
to
in the
eat
gym.
honeycomb?
Where to what?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to look up, where can you eat horse meat or just where eat horse. And there's four things that popped up. So where can you eat horse meat? Where can you eat horse in the U.S.? Where can I eat hot dogs? And the last one is where to eat honeycomb.
What the fuck? Oh.
Where can you eat horse meat? Let's see.
But I think one of the things that a lot of people have a problem with is they psych themselves out. Like, for example, I sat in the parking lot at the gym because Karen was doing schoolwork, so I just took the car and drove down to the gym. I basically sat in the car for 10 minutes trying to convince myself to go in because all I could think about was, I don't want to do this today. I'm really tired. I'm really sore. But one of the things that actually helped was there was a lady that parked right in front of me, and she was actually bigger than me. And she got out of the car, got her bag, and walked right in without even hesitating. And my first thought was, well, shit, if she can do it like that, so can I. And I actually had a fantastic workout day. So if you're...
Yeah, fantastic workout day.
I had a fantastic workout day. Apparently my voice didn't, though.
I'm sorry, but every time we have voice cracks, I know we're getting a little off topic.
I am 20 goddamn years old, and my voice still cracks like I'm prepubescent.
Same here, and I'm 21, so...
Lucky.
It's a...
Also,
oh my gosh.
one of the things that is really big as far as losing weight is not drinking alcohol. Because alcohol is... It's not great for you, to say the least. Let's just say that.
It's great. It's great. I'm sorry. It's not great.
It's great if you're fat because it helps you forget things if you drink enough of it.
Well, it's funny because on my 21st birthday, about noon, I went to the store and I bought my first pack of the 6-pack beer, which was a Jack Daniel Coke mix.
That sounds delicious, actually.
It was really good. Let's just say I had one every day when I got home from work.
Well, yeah, see, that's understandable. It's not great for you, but it's understandable.
It's always good to have, just kick back, relax, have a, pop an open cold one with the boys.
With the boys. The boys being the two controllers, and one of which is broken. Dude, I had to buy a new controller for my Xbox.
The one that just finally gave out?
No, the white one that came with the Xbox started drifting. So drifting is when your analog stick starts scrolling through things and moving on its own because it short circuits. It started drifting, and I don't know how to fix it, and I don't want to pay to fix it. So I decided to add this to the collection of controllers that I'm going to be putting up on my wall soon. So now I've got an Xbox 360 controller, an Xbox One controller, and a PS3 controller. I'm going to get that fucking PS5 controller.
Well, yeah, going back to eating the horse, I found multiple countries that eat horse meat as a
staple
delicacy. It's Mexico, Switzerland, Kazakhstan, Belgium. Oh, whatever.
Kazakhstan.
Sorry, the Mexican came out after I said Mexico. It'd be Kazakhstan. Japan, Germany, Indonesia, Poland, and China are among the nations where many people eat.
That's understandable.
Without a second thought. That's really understandable, yeah.
I've actually always wanted to try horse meat, if I'm being completely honest. It seems like it'd be relatively lean meat. Cause
it looks really lean meat. It just depends on where you get it cut from that horse.
Because I don't know about you, but I've never seen a fat horse. Like, ever. But yeah, so one of the things that we're doing this podcast for is kind of for accountability, but also kind of to just talk about it. It kind of helps to remember that there's somebody else there that's going through the same thing. And it's not like Karen doesn't help me. She absolutely does. In fact, she was really upset today because she couldn't go to the gym with me this morning, and she's not going to have time to go to the gym with me tomorrow morning.
Because she works today, huh?
So originally she was off, and they called her in.
Okay.
Her supervisor yesterday told her that he could really use her help today, so she went in. But other than that, I think that mostly covers it. Did we miss anything on the list?
I think we got B and C. How did we get hooked on video games?
How did we get hooked on? So, the reason this is important is because video games became a really big part of how I gained a lot of weight. Actually, I think that's a big part of how we both gained a lot of weight.
Yes.
So, as per the standard, typically as people gain weight, they'll start to become more reclusive because they get more self-conscious of the way they look. So naturally, as I got fatter, I don't know if this happened for Chris, but as for me, as I gained more weight and started to get more subconscious of my size, I started to be more reclusive. I couldn't necessarily cancel plans with friends because I didn't really go anywhere with friends except for when I went to spend the night at Chris's house, which was pretty typical.
And it's always
But
fun to have someone to sleep over with.
oh, absolutely.
Especially a good friend.
I am a
It's always good.
20-year-old man, and I would still kill to have the money to fly down there and have a sleepover for one night. That
Oh
would
my
be
gosh,
fucking
yes.
awesome.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But it became kind of like I became more reclusive. I started playing more games, not necessarily online games. I was never super big into like COD, or I never really got in. I think I played Fortnite for like a month and a half, and then I got tired of listening to 8-year-olds screaming in my ear, so I stopped playing it.
Oh my gosh! Whenever me and him will play, we'll just play with each other. Not play.
we would
Not
we
that,
would
not that
go
type
into
of way.
playground mode and just fuck around for an hour and a half. That was it.
And there was one time that we went to in a game, and I'm not the most person to just go out and shoot and kill everybody. I'm always gonna wait like in a corner where no one will see me, and just wait. I think I lasted like a month, like top 20, 25, just by hiding.
I've won one match, and
I
it
have never
just so
won one.
happened. So I had bet JC that if I won a match, he would have to go to bed because he didn't want to go to bed, and that just so happened to be the one and only match that I ever won in solo mode. I think I killed a total of 6 people, and I won because the last person I killed happened to kill the third person just as I shot him with a sniper. So, like, he
Also,
shot
that
the other
person
guy
and the
and
other
killed
person
them.
traded.
Huh?
It was like a little trade, wasn't it? Like he
Yeah.
killed that one guy and then you killed him.
He killed the one guy just as I sniped him in the head, and he died, and I won. And JC started bawling because he then had to go to bed, and he was totally expecting to not have to. But video games became a big part of me being a little more reclusive, because instead of going outside and, I had a YouTube channel for a while in, I want to say, like, sophomore year, and I actually had a lot of fun with it. In fact, I find myself regularly trying to find the same joy in the videos I make now as I did then. But my videos also didn't make sense. Mostly because I had been watching a lot of like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye, and like all I wanted to do was play video games. And I stopped going outside as much. I stopped really going to do anything other than sitting in my room and playing video games. To the point where if I had a Galaxy S4, I could tell you how to record on there and what games to play because I knew all of that stuff. I had been doing it for months. So I would
It's the same thing with. Sorry to interrupt, but it's the same thing with me. I mean, I'm 21. I work. I don't go to school or anything. Yes, I pay bills and all that fun stuff. But most of the day, ever since we got a dog, I've been in my room.
And and when you're like that and you're a teenager, typically you try to justify it to yourself as like, oh, well, soon I'll have a car and I'll have enough time and money to go places. I won't have to walk everywhere. And then sometimes, like for me, it just doesn't happen. Or I would come home from work after. So I would go to school and then I'd go to work and then I'd come home and I'd go to bed and then I'd wake up and repeat. So a lot of the time I found myself wanting free time but not wanting to go anywhere. So I would just sit in my room and play video games. And over time, the compounding amount of food that I ate and lack of activity kind of added up, and I just became overwhelmed with how big I got. And every time I would look at myself, I'd think, "Wow, this is just me now. It's never going to change." And for a long time, all I could think about was, "Wow, maybe I should just die." There were literally
Right.
days where I could not physically get out of bed because I was so cripplingly depressed, and I thought nothing was ever going to get better.
For a
Um,
good while.
oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
I've told you about the stuff that happened here recently, and maybe sometimes I just don't want to, get out of bed.
And
I've
those
been
are the
so.
mornings that it's even more important to get out of bed, because if you can prove to yourself that you can get out of bed, that's a step in the right direction.
Oh yeah,
Just
and
like,
with people who ask you if you're okay, because yesterday I was at work, I felt like crap,
oh,
and
absolutely.
I was so depressed. I didn't talk to anybody because there's people who know me. I'm always cheerful, you know, always my retarded self, right?
Chris is the happy one of the group. I am the
I,
nihilist. I'm the
and
one that.
I had three coworkers that come up to me while I was in backwash. I was washing dishes. And I had three people ask me if I was okay, and I don't say anything. I just
Pretend we
nodded.
don't
I
hear
just
him.
nodded.
Um, but that's typically pretty common of people who become overweight is they get so insecure about it that they start to recluse. They start to kind of lock themselves in a room and try to avoid people. My big thing was once I got a hold of my own debit card, because when I first started working, I was a minor. My parents didn't trust me with the money I was working for. Um, so they held on to my card because they wanted to make sure that I was actually getting my rent paid, because lo and behold, I'm dumb and don't have all that good control with money. But once I got a hold of my debit card, it kind of created this problem where um, a lot of the time I was late on my rent because I would think, oh, well, I can just pay the rest of it in 2 weeks. And there was a few times where I was a month or two behind on rent. And a lot of it was due to buying food I didn't need, or I would come. So I worked in a restaurant last year. It's called the Alamo Draft House, for those of you who don't live in Texas or somewhere that has one. Um, which most of you should, because most of you are from Montana, or not Montana, Texas and Arizona. And both of those places have Alamo Draft Houses. However, in Arizona, they're not so famous. But I worked in an Alamo Draft House, which is basically a movie theater that sells actual food. So like burgers, hot dogs, pizza, salads, all that kind of stuff.
Good stuff, by the
Um,
way. I've been there before. It's
oh
good.
yeah, really expensive though, like $12 for a hot dog.
Right?
Um, but I worked there, and we were allowed to make and eat pretty much whatever we wanted. The one rule was we had to put it on the waste log. And there were some times where I would make food and I'd go to put it on the waste log and I'd be embarrassed with how much I was eating. But also the fact that like I would eat that, like there was nights where I'd make myself like a full order of wings and like coat it in barbecue sauce, like season it myself, and then throw some French fries or something on top of that, and then I'd come home, eat that, and then an hour later I was ordering McDonald's off of Uber Eats. Um, and over time, I would just kind of like I started avoiding mirrors, started avoiding people. Um, I kind of just became not reclusive, but I basically became a hermit. And the only one who was really able to bring me out of that, as far as being up here, was Karen. Um, Karen and I became
Oh,
friends
excuse me.
because of Karen and I became friends originally because she was learning the station I was working at, and then we just kind of got closer and closer, and then started learning about all the stuff her fiance was doing, and was like he was basically treating her like shit. And then they split, and a few months later we got together. Um, which was funny because a lot of our coworkers or one of our coworkers at the Alamo kept saying we needed to just fucking get it over with. And then, he turned out to be right. Because there was all like we would stand across the kitchen and like not yell at each other, but like yell to each other. So
Mm.
like she would say something and I would do that stupid high pitched voice yell that I have when I don't understand something. Um,
Wait.
and it's just like I don't understand. Um, and one of our coworkers kept saying, "You guys need to just screw and get it over with." And then we did. And then the next day we hardly talked to each other.
Oh,
And we
okay.
didn't even have to tell anybody what happened. They already knew. I didn't have to tell a single person. As soon as I walked in and we weren't like yelling at the top of our lungs to each other, somebody was like, "You guys did it, didn't you?" And I was like, "Fucking Christ." Um, but
Wow.
It was ridiculous, but Karen has also been there for me through all of this. Um, she's been that kind of person that, like, she knows that I get frustrated with it. She knows that I get overwhelmed with it. And there's been times where she'll grab me by the sides of my face and like force me to look her in the eyes, and she'll tell me to calm down and that it's okay. And that actually genuinely helps. It doesn't, sometimes for people it doesn't help because a lot of people don't like being touched. Honestly, I'm a physical person, which is weird because I didn't used to be, but like when I moved to Texas, it was kind of mandatory because in Arizona, it's hot, it's sticky, it's sweaty, nobody wants to touch each other. But in Texas, it's windy, so you're pretty cool most of the time. So people are more likely to like walk up and put their hand on your shoulder or like give you random ass hugs.
That's what you think, Devon.
That's what I learned.
No, Texas right now.
Oh yeah, no.
Going through a freaking bipolar episode. Okay, so like 1 week can be extremely hot, like 100, 105 degrees.
Texas,
and
Southern
then the next
Arizona
week can be like easy 80, 90, 95 degrees. I'm like,
so I've lived in both the northern and southern part of the country. Southern Arizona feels like the little spot between Satan's balls and his asshole. The top of the country feels heavenly. It's like 75, 76 the majority of the year, and then it's cold in the winter. Texas is both in the same week.